What's up, everyone? Here is a new fence today. This particular fence is black steel posts and 1/2 inch by 1.5 inch wide clear redwood pickets, which means no knots. Here's Jordan doing the post holes that are going to be around the entrance gate. And the ground here was extra hard, so he had to use that heavy bar. And Jordan just muscles through it, gets it done. And now he's back digging the rest of the holes. We also did the side gates on this customer's job, and there's the owner came back out, talked about, I believe there they talked about having the fence level as it came up the walkway rather than sloped up the walkway. So Jordan's getting out a whole bunch of red bag there. Red bag is the fast drying concrete, putting a post in each hole. He's just getting the work done. So this fence goes all along the front yard as well, which you can't see. It's behind the camera at this point. And it's very hot up there in the summertime. It's about 90. So there goes Jordan, mixing the concrete, pours it in the hole around the post. Make sure the post is in the right spot before he pours it in. Mixes another bag right there. He's going to get all these posts set. Then he's going to do the frame. And here he is putting the top rail on. And now he's doing the bottom rail. This is regular Doug fir 2x4s. I prefer to use the Doug fir 2x4s because they're really structurally strong and they don't bend and bow as much in the weather. A little more denser wood than the redwood. So, I mean, it's what they frame houses out of, and it's good, and it receives a stain just fine if you want to stain it, which this guy is going to do. He's going to stain it himself. There's Jordan getting all the framework on. Now here's Angel, came up to cut the pickets. So if you buy this 1.5 by 1.5 and then cut the pickets out of it, well, I think it's 1 3/8 by 1 3/8. Anyway, you save about half the money, and then you cut them in half on the table saw, and you get one free picket for every time you cut one. Basically how it ends up working. So it's an awful lot of pickets to cut. Angel pretty much spent the day cutting pickets, and Jordan spent the day putting them on. This is actually the second day on this job. First day, no, it's like the third day actually. So Angel made this to push the stuff through, which was a big waste of time because he only used it for a couple minutes and then went back to the regular way of doing it. So there's Jordan putting the pickets on, and there he is standing on the pickets, which isn't really smart. But that's kind of Jordan's personality. He just does stuff like that. I mean, it's just not a smart way to, why not just move the pickets rather than walk around on them, put a bunch of footprints on them, That's the thing with these guys, So anyway, I didn't notice any footprints on them actually when I went up there to check on the job. But I guarantee you there'd be some kind of marks or footprint stuff on them. But it was light enough to where it didn't show, I suppose. Didn't show enough. So here he is doing picket after picket, and that fence curves as it goes up the sidewalk. You can see it right there. And we just went on along next to the street, or along next to the sidewalk, measured off the sidewalk, put the post. Then the trick was to get them all sloping down the same height. So we were able to do that. And they wanted the fence to be 4 feet high, which is a little bit high actually. I like the front yard fence to be the standard 3.5 feet, then it looks normal. And also the spacing on these pickets, if you see them, they wanted like 1/2 inch spacing, and normally you'd have equal spacing. And that's another thing I like, is to be able to see through the fence a little bit so that the house shows a little bit more rather than just having it less visibility. So if they would have done equal spacing or even 3-inch spacing, it would you would see more of the house and less of the fence. Now when you look at the house, you just see mostly fence rather than a balanced combination of both. Something to keep in mind for you homeowners contemplating a picket fence in the front. So this is a young family. They have a couple of kids, like toddlers, and this will work good to keep the kids and the dog in the yard.
There you have it. This coated lockbox. Pull that, opens. Butter. It's all good. And here we go. All the way down. And do our extended higher. And right here at the thumb latch. Beautiful. All the way down. Had to make a little section to close off over there. And we got our pretty gate over here. Look at that. Same thing. I'm not going to put the code in this time, but it works. Sweet.